everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
Can you imagine losing your mom and then less than 2 months later, the person that you lay with every night that's supposed to be there to comfort you unalives your sister? Okay, so let me start this story from the very beginning. Back in 2020, my sister moved in with me. We just kind of wanted to live together. She had her own apartment, but I was just getting out of a relationship, and the same for her. And we just wanted to be around each other all the time because we were best friends. So she moves in. I'm like 19 or 20 at this time, so I haven't really been to clubs or anything. So my big sister naturally wants to take me to do all that stuff for the first time with her. So we start going out a lot. During the summer, we were outside like every weekend. And this was around the time where we were getting like stimulus checks, and then she was on unemployment. So like we were literally just living it up. Around this time that my sister came to move in with me, my mom actually came and moved in the same apartments as us. We were so attached at the hip, it was ridiculous. Like, if we could live in each other's skin, we would. So not only are we always with each other, but we're always with our mom too. We're stopping at her house before we go out to the clubs and everything like that. So my mom was somebody who knew a lot of me and my sister's business. Like she used to consider herself our sister once we got like adult age. Now, everything I'm telling you, I promise you it's important to the story. You're just gonna have to put it all together at the end. Okay, so now it's the end of summer 2021. Everything is kind of sliding downhill slowly. I had a job, I worked at home, but my sister, she didn't at the time, and she didn't like to work either. So she didn't have any interest in getting a job or anything like that. When she was living with me, we were splitting the rent. But when unemployment got cut off and money stopped flowing in, she didn't really think that she had to pay half the rent anymore because we're sisters, we're best friends, you know my situation, and you have a job and you make enough to pay the full rent is basically how she was thinking. She did still help out. She cleaned up sometimes. She would contribute her food and things like that. But it just started to become frustrating because as an adult, like, it becomes overwhelming doing all that by yourself, especially when you have kids. So now me and my sister's relationship is getting rocky. We're kind of like walking on eggshells with each other around the house. She's at my mom's house now more often and going to talk to her a lot and things like that. So we both were like just alike and we preferred to be in a relationship. And around the time that our relationship was getting rocky, gave us like a window to start to meet new people and not care to like talk to each other 24/7 like we were doing. So she meets this girl on a dating app and they start to date, they start to hang out. Since we're all girls, she just becomes like our third friend. So we're now all going out, even though summer's over, we're still going out. I'm no longer working at home. I actually started a housekeeping job at a hotel. So now I meet this guy as I'm working at the hotel. He works there as well. And I hadn't had the best experiences with relationships in the past. So this time I was kind of going for something different than what I usually do, you know? So he was working a job, had his own money, had his own car. And so that alone kind of drew me to him. So this guy approaches me and he's just telling me that he thinks I'm super pretty and asks me what I'm doing after work. So I'm like, oh, well, I already had plans to drink with my sister after work. Maybe we could do something some other time. And he's like, oh, well, what do you guys drink? I'll bring the bottle. So since my sister was already going to have her girlfriend there, I just figured like, okay, well, what's one more head? And he already offered to buy the liquor, so why not? So I'm like, okay, we drink tequila, and yeah, you can come over after work or whatever. I don't even know this guy. Like, what was I thinking? Inviting a stranger over to my house. But my sister and her girlfriend are going to be there, and then my mom and my stepdad are always at my house, and they stay in the same apartments as me. So honestly, I'm just thinking like I'm going to be good. But I didn't know that I was not good, and that was the worst mistake that I've ever made in my life, inviting that man over to my house. But this is getting kind of long, so you'll have to find out more in part 2. And if they shut TikTok down tomorrow, you'll have to subscribe to my YouTube. Okay, so this is part 2 of the time my ex unalived my sister the month after.
Good thing they ain't shut TikTok down.
So as I mentioned in part 1, this guy, he comes over to drink and everything. And me personally, I'm just trying to hit it and quit it. Like, yeah, he was cool. He was different than what I'm used to. But at the same time, I wasn't ready to be in a relationship. I had just got out of a relationship, a 2-year relationship. I want to say not even a full year before meeting this guy. So he gets there. He speaks to everybody. I want to say that my mom was there. So, like, they have a little brief conversation and whatnot. But that was just that. Honestly, my sister wasn't feeling his energy. And I guess it was vice versa because he asked, were we going to go, like, elsewhere to drink? And I don't know if it was him or she just didn't feel like drinking that night. But my sister was just like, y'all got that. Like, I don't even want to drink with y'all. So we ended up just going in the room and talking. Like, we just talked for hours. Now, I did forget to mention in part 1 that before he approached me at the end of the day, he did approach me at lunch because the housekeepers all took lunch together. And that's when we first initially start having a conversation. So in that conversation, I did find out that he had a son and that him and his child's mother had just broken up 6 months prior to us meeting. But what he did not mention when he first approached me is that he still lived with his baby mother. So when we were in the room drinking and talking, it came up in conversation that it was getting late and that we had to work early in the morning. And I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I don't mind if you spend the night because we're going to the same job in the morning. And I didn't have a car. So honestly, I did mind if he spent the night, but I just wanted a ride to work in the morning because sometimes my mom didn't want to take me and I would have to spend my good Uber money. And I didn't want to. So that's when he's like, oh, I would, but I feel like it's kind of disrespectful to my baby mom. And I'm like, oh, well, you're the one that said you were single. So now I'm kind of confused. So he's like, no, I am single, but we do still live with each other because our lease wasn't up yet. So when our lease ends in October is when we're going to move apart. And me and him met in like August. So it was like a couple months out before they were supposed to be moving apart. And in my head, I'm just like, well, this is exactly why I was just trying to hit it and quit it. Because obviously you're not to be trusted. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's cool. You go handle what you need to handle or whatever. See you at work. So now in my mind, I'm like, well, this is not going to go anywhere at all, obviously. And he's like, oh, well, I know you don't have a car or anything. So did you want me to come back and get you in the morning for work? Of course. Why not? So now that's what we're doing. He's coming over after work, staying there until like 2, 3 in the morning, and then going back home. I later found out because he still had to take her to work and take his son to school. So this guy is getting like 3 hours of sleep, or if that, maybe 2 hours of sleep a day, trying to live a double life. But that's not my business. Do what you need to do because at the end of the day, I'm still getting what I need. I was still getting a ride to and from work until I ended up getting my own car. I was still getting my lunch bought for me. I was still getting my dinner bought for me. Like, I didn't mind. You want to live a double life? I'm just going to keep telling myself that you're not my man. So now it's September 9th and it's my mom's birthday and we go out for her birthday. And one thing about our family, we found it weird when one of our partners or whatever didn't want to interact with our family because we were so close and always together. So it's like, if you can't accept my family, then we can't be together. So I invited him out with us for my mom's birthday. And his response was that he wasn't going to be able to make it, but he will buy my mom a bottle. So now that's raising antennas with my mom, my sister. Everybody's like, that's weird. Why all of a sudden can't he make it? You don't. Now they're trying to get me to realize, like, you don't think that maybe he is still in a relationship. But they don't know that I don't care. Like, that's not my business, honestly, at this point. It's not like, oh, I'm purposely messing with this guy and I know that he's in a relationship. I'm going based off of what he told me. It's not my job to play Inspector Gadget. So he sends the money from my mom's bottle and he's like, I can still come see you tonight. So now my mom and my sister, because like I said, I told them everything, are like, no, that doesn't make sense. If you can't spend time with your family, be seen with you in public, like, girl, he's still in a relationship. And you need to, you know, be careful with that. So I'm ignoring all the signs that they're trying to get me to see simply because I wanted to. So now fast forward to October, around the time that he told me him and his baby mama's lease is supposed to be up. By then, we had already gotten closer. We had already been on a couple of dates, spent a lot of time together, every day together. We worked together, everything. So I was expecting for him to, you know, at that point, let me know that that was completely over with and that we were probably going to be taking things to the next level. So he did not immediately move out, which is, again, when I should have immediately ran. But I don't know. I was young and dumb. So one day we had, but he did end up starting to spend the night every night and things like that, basically trying to let me know that that was over with. So we went to drop his son off at home from school one day, and we ended up running into his baby mama at the store by his house. And that was the first time that I had seen her in person, but I didn't have no problem with her. Like, we had never had any encounters before. So when she seen me, she was just like, what's up, little mama? And then immediately just started talking to him. And I was just like, hello. Like, I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm not a confrontational person, especially like the first time of me meeting somebody. So she starts talking to him and she walks up to the basket and she's like, I know you're not about to purchase this food with my food stamp card. And he was like, no, she has her own food stamp card. So after that, I don't even know what was said because, like, I just walked away because now I hear ignorance. This is ignorant. So I walked away and we ended up going to go check out or whatever. So she texted him and she was like, oh, well, at least when I get somebody else, they look better than you. So now I don't know how I feel about their relationship. I don't know what really to suspect. Like, it doesn't seem like they're still together. It kind of just seems like she's bitter and she's mad that they're not. So we got closer or whatever. Now we're in a full-blown relationship and little things are starting to happen where, like, I'm noticing that they have, like, still a strong bond. Like, they're always talking every day. It's good morning, good night, like, all that extra stuff. And I'm not liking that. So I'm telling my sister about it. She's like still telling me, girl, run. Like, still trying to let me know you need to get out of this relationship. I don't like him anyway. So now something happens to where my sister and her girlfriend, they break up, and my sister, like, she's wanting more of my attention. So she's not really giving me a honest perspective is what I felt like. She was giving me more so like, I want my sister back. Now I'm not in a relationship. Now you can't be in a relationship. And I'm like, sis, that's not how it works. So one night, my sister had been drinking all night, and they had came over, and they were basically just trying to get me to, like, interact with them, but I wasn't on their level. I was tired from work, and I'm just like, can y'all just, you know, leave me alone? So my mom, she got mad, and she was, like, getting in my face and stuff like that, and I'm, like, telling her to back up, but he was sitting right there on the bed, so, like, she was in both of our face technically, but she was just messing with me. And so I'm telling her to back up. She hits me with a shoe on accident, but she was really just like waving it in my face. And now I'm like, all right, mom, like, you're doing too much. Just go home. See you in the morning. And so when she did that, the shoe like hit him too. And like he put his hand up and basically pushed my mom. It wasn't like a push, but like he put his hand up and like was trying to back her up a little, and she just went up. She was like, he hit me. He just hit me. You need to leave him. Like, you're messing with somebody that hit your mom and like all type of stuff. So now, like, I don't know how to feel because I'm witnessing what's going on, and I can't honestly say that that's what happened. So my sister hears my mom say that, and she just runs in the room and breaks a wine glass on his face. Every little detail I'm telling you is very important for this story to make sense, but y'all will have to come back for part 3. Okay, so let's get into part 3 of how my life changed forever. So after him and my mom got into it, my stepdad called and he was just like, what's going on? I'm gonna have to fight your boyfriend if he's putting his hands on my wife. And we kind of just explained to him what was going on. And from that situation, neither party cared for each other at all. It was like I couldn't bring him around them, and they didn't care to come around him. So they were barely even at my house anymore. So now we've turned into an on and off relationship. Nothing's really the same anymore. When I would go through his phone, I would basically see him telling his baby mama that like he misses home. So now we break up for a long time. I want to say 3 weeks to almost a month at this time. And in the time of us breaking up, I believe that he went back to his baby mom's house. Because when we ended up getting back together, she became a worse problem than what she was before we had broke up. Like before, it would just be like, okay, I'm catching him doing a bunch of stuff. But now when we got back together, it was like she was picking at me. Like she would keep trying to start stuff with me. And I assume it was because she thought me and him were temporary and her man would be back home sooner than what he was. Like there was one situation where we took our kids out together. We took them to Sky Zone or something like that. And she lets him know like, oh, I don't want that girl around my son. She shouldn't be saying anything to my son. And literally all I said to her son was like, hi. And so it was like a big situation. And instead of him sitting us down and trying to come to an understanding, this is when I should have known that he was playing both sides, because he just stopped seeing his son. Basically, he was only seeing his son like once a month at that point. Like, okay, so if my girlfriend can't be around my son, I'm just not gonna hang out with my son. Like that didn't make sense to me. But honestly, like I said, I ignored every red flag there was. For what? I have no idea. Now, mind you, so much stuff is going on now. After we broke up for that period of time where she's just picking and picking and picking, like just finding any reason to say anything to me or about me to this man. So I told my sister, like, I feel like I'm going to end up fighting his baby mama. And she was just like, at that time, she was going through a similar situation with her boyfriend, who she was on and off with for years. I want to say like 5 years. And so she was just like agreeing with me, like, yeah, I be feeling that same way about Ronnie's baby mamas. Like, I just feel like they be being petty though, sis. So you just got to ignore these girls because they're just bitter. So it was one time where I told him I wanted to watch Baddies, and I told him to get Zeus. And he was like, oh, well, I think my baby mama has Zeus. I'll just get hers. And I'm like, why? It's $6. Why can't you just buy a Zeus? Like, it's not that deep. And he was like, oh, because I can just trade her for, like, one of the things that I already just bought, because we had turned on HBO to watch Raising Kanan and stuff like that. So he traded her for an HBO Max and gave me the Zeus. And as soon as she gets onto the HBO Max, she creates her own profile with her name on it. Why would I want to look at your name every time I turn on my TV? Like, girl, now you're just being petty. So now at this point, I'm tired of her picking at me and I'm being petty back. So I removed her name, and on HBO Max, it doesn't let you delete the profile for some reason. So instead of deleting the profile, I just replaced her name with his name. And then I made my own profile and put my picture on there. So now we're going back and forth. She puts her picture up on her profile and I keep deleting it. So she's going up telling him, get your girlfriend. She's being petty, sending me videos talking about, do you want to fight? Because I'm pretty sure you're the one that deleted my name. So now I'm acting like I don't know what they're talking about. I'm like, nobody touched your name, but you shouldn't have been on my TV in the first place. So when she sent me a video, she's like shaking in the video, like recording her TV. And she was like, I'm pretty sure you're the one that deleted my name. So go ahead and pull up, like we can fight right now. So I tell my sister, I'm like, oh, well, at this point, I'm just about to go fight his baby mama, because this girl won't leave me alone. This man, like, he's here with me every day. We are doing a bunch of stuff, going to California, going to, Laughlin, all type of stuff now at this point. So now I feel like that's the reason why she's being so petty, because she sees that we're, like, actually, moving further in the relationship or whatever. Mind you, there's been multiple different occasions where I'm simply asking this girl, do you want your man back? Like, I will send him home and leave this man alone. I'm not one that likes to share, and I'm fully aware that there are some baby daddies that will never leave their baby mama alone, especially since they had been together for like 7-8 years before me and him got together. So I don't know. But at the same time, I don't mess with my baby daddy, hadn't since my child had been born, and she's the same age as his son. So I'm looking at it from both points of view. Like, there could very well just be a bitter baby mama in this situation that wants her baby daddy back, or there could be a baby daddy that's playing both sides. But I don't know, because I'm just looking at it from my perspective. I don't want my baby daddy, so I don't know if she really still wants hers. But every time I'm asking her, like, do you want the man back? I will send him home. She's just making it seem like that's not what she wants. So he somehow convinced me that he doesn't mess with her and that it's all her, that she's just delusional or whatever the case may be. So I get my own car eventually, and then a couple months later, he gets his own car because apparently the car that he was taking me to work every day in was her car. So he gets his own car, I co-sign on the car, and then we talk about getting our own place together. Eventually, my sister, she just moves out. She goes to stay with my mom. I don't remember exactly the conversation that we had when she did move out, but I do know that part of the reason was because of him. So at this time, my mom had actually quit her job. She wanted to start fulfilling her dream of being a caterer, and she knew that this generation was into TikTok. So she would start trying to record her TikTok videos and things like that. So at this time, she depended on her husband to pay the bills and everything like that. But they ended up separating and he went to go live in his own apartment. So now she was overly stressed and stimulated, and my sister moves in with her and goes to get a job, and now they're working at the same job. That's another reason why it's so crazy that my mom and sister passed so close together, because they were at each other's hip 24/7 the last couple months of their lives. And so while they were together all the time, me and him were together all the time. And so I wasn't really around my family as much as I used to be. Because even though they were now cordial with him, we had been out together, bowling, Top Golf and everything, they just still didn't care for him and he still didn't like them. So I had to choose most of the time if I was going to spend time with my family or my man. And that put me in an awkward position in itself. And I honestly was hating my life at this point in life. So my mom goes to out to eat on her birthday, September 9th, and I didn't get to go. So on her 50th birthday, my mom's last birthday, I didn't make it because I didn't have any money. But my mom was a very spiritual woman who always knew that her time on earth was going to be very short-lived. And so she basically would let us know that all we would have is each other after she leaves. And it was so, for some reason, significant to her that when she turned 50, everything was going to change. She wouldn't tell us what the change was going to be, but she was always excited for the age 50. So I felt so bad that I had missed such an important birthday for her. She was always excited for 50. So after that day, I just made sure that I was coming to see her every single day. It didn't matter if I was just visiting her to give her a hug and a kiss or smoking with her. Whatever the case may be, I was stopping at her house every day. And so after work on October 6th, 2022, I stopped by and I visited her, and I was just talking to her, telling her about my day. But I'm I want to go home and take a shower. I feel filthy. I'll come back tomorrow. And she's like, no, you need to spend time with me. You need to smoke with me. And I'm like, Mom, we do this all the time. I'll come back tomorrow and do it. It's not that serious. But when they say tomorrow is not promised, that is exactly what they mean. Because the next day, October 7th, 2022, is the day that I lost my mom. You'll have to find out how in part 4. Okay, so let's part 4 of how my life changed forever, featuring the queen herself. So October 7th, 2022, I get a call at around 7:30 a.m. This is the time that I'm supposed to be waking up to get ready for work anyway, because I had to be to work at 9 a.m. So my mom calls me, which wasn't abnormal. She called me all the time. And I'm just like, what is it, lady? You just broke my last little 5 minutes of sleep. What's up? And she's like, I don't feel right. I need you, to come to my job. But one thing about my mom, she loved attention. She was the little boy who cried wolf, quite literally. And so I didn't think that it was that serious. I thought she was just being dramatic. And I'm like, why didn't you call your husband? I can't afford to come up there simply because I was on my last strike for attendance at my job and I had bills to pay. So I'm like, Mom, if this isn't really serious, I can't afford to be late to work. So can you just, call your husband or call Rachel or somebody? But she knew that neither of them had their own car, and so I was going to be the one to be able to make it up to her the fastest. And I didn't think about that. Again, I didn't think it was that serious, or I would have said, forget that job, and been right up there with my mom. So I get up for work. I call my sister. I'm like, are you going to go check on mommy? She's like, yeah, she just called me. Ronnie's about to take me up to her right now. My mom had just started this job at a gas station as a manager. And coincidentally, her husband's baby mama's daughter was working there as well. So we already thought that there was going to be like some type of issues and whatnot. But we just, told her to watch her back basically. So my sister goes up there. I get ready for work. I go to work. And the way that you're connected to your mother is crazy because I got this weird feeling in my chest around like 9:30 a.m. And I was already clocked into work. I had just started cleaning my rooms and my chest just started hurting. And I ignored it for a minute and I just continued to do what I was doing. And then around 10 a.m., I'm like, something's not right. And me and the guy that I was dating, we were on the phones 24/7, like when we were cleaning our rooms and stuff at the hotels. So I was like, something's not right. I'm going to call my mom. And he was like, oh, yeah, you forgot to check on her since we got to work. So it's 10 a.m. I want to say like 10:38. And I call my sister and I'm like, nobody has called me and updated me what's going on with mommy. Has she gotten to the hospital? What's up? And I FaceTimed her and I just see her like bawling, like crying, face red as a tomato. Like my sister was super light skinned. And so I'm like, what is going on? What are you crying for? And she was just like, she's gone. She's gone. And she could barely breathe. She was hyperventilating. And this is something that has always been like my worst fear. So I didn't believe it. Like, I don't know what to do in this situation. I'm instantly in shock. I'm like, who's gone? What are you talking about? And she was like, mommy is gone. And I was like, no way. There's no way at all. And like, she's just trying to tell me like, yes, I'm literally standing over her body right now. Like, I'm not playing. And I just dropped to my knees. Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, I literally felt like I was about to pass out. And so I just dropped to my knees and I just sat there for a second and I just hung up on her. And then I called him and I was like, we need to go to the hospital right now. My mom is gone. And he was like, no, she's not. Like, what the fuck? I don't know what I can and can't say on TikTok. So I don't want to get banned. I'm going to have to figure out how to bleep that out. But he was like, what are you talking about? Like, no, there's no way. And I'm like, we need to go right now. And so he told me, like, meet him downstairs in the basement. And I'm on my way to the basement and I'm like screaming. Like, when I tell you, everybody in that hotel was looking at me like, what is wrong with this girl? I was screaming to the top of my lungs. Like, I did not know how to feel at this moment. And God sent me an angel knowing that I needed a hug. And so there was one of the ladies at the hotel that didn't speak any English. She didn't know how to say not a word in English. And so she was like, what's going on? Like, what, like basically telling me like whatever she was saying in Spanish, I knew that she was concerned. And I'm like, I'm trying to like get her to understand. I don't know much Spanish, but I'm just telling her like my mom, thinking that she'll be able to understand that. And she did, and she instantly like start crying with me, like, and start just holding me. And she was like, it's okay, it's okay. And so after she gave me a hug, she was just like, hurry up and go. And so I get in the elevator and I go downstairs to the basement. And now at this job, everybody really knows everybody basically. So everybody knows my personality is more so just like straightforward. People used to think that I was mean until they had conversations with me because I would just walk around with a straight face all the time. So the fact that they seen me like so vulnerable at that time, it was like, oh my God, what is going on? And I'm just letting them know, like, I have to go. I don't have time to explain. Like, I'm out of here. I didn't even have time to let anybody know that I had to leave early. And so I leave, I get in the car, and I'm just completely zoned out. Like, I don't know how to feel. I'm really not trying to believe it at this point. Because just yesterday, my mom was begging me to stay and spend time with her and smoke with her. So now I'm like, there's no way. I can't rewind time. I can't go back to that moment right there and spend that last moment with her and have that last conversation with her. And that alone is the only thing that I could think about on the way to the hospital. So now we get to the hospital. I go to the desk to check in, and instantly when I say my mom's name, like they're already like trying to hurry up and get me to her room. So I get in the room and my mom is just laying there, gone. And I'm like, did they even try anything? Like, what happened? Like, what happened? What happened? Like, I'm just tripping. I'm giving her a hug. Her body is already completely cold. Like, she had been gone for a minute. I'm like, what's going on? Rachel was like, I couldn't even call you, sis. Like, I was literally just sitting here staring at her. And I was thankful that you called me because I didn't know what to do. So now it's just me, my sister in the room, and then both of our boyfriends. And my sister's boyfriend is completely distraught. He's a part of the family at this point, and he was really close to my mom. So he's sitting there crying just like everybody else. And I look at mine, and it kind of looked like he was forcing his tears out. Mind you, I told you that they've had problems in the past, but I was never expecting to see him so emotionless. Like, it was so forced. He was hugging Rachel and trying to comfort us, but it didn't seem real. But I'm not worried about that right now. I'm trying to figure out like what's going on with my mom. So I'm like, did you call Eric? Like, what's going on? She was like, honestly, I had been standing over her body for 30 minutes when you called me. Like, you had to snap me out of it because I didn't know how to tell you guys. I didn't know who to call first. I don't know what to do. And so I'm like, what happened? And she was like, when I got to her job, she said her chest was feeling tight, her legs were numb, and that the ambulance was on the way. So the ambulance gets there, and she tells me to go and get her purse before I get in the ambulance with her. And she goes back in the job. I go back in the job to get her purse, and I come back out, and the ambulance is gone. And I'm like, why would they leave you? And she was like, I don't know. But when she got to the hospital, she was already pronounced gone. And I'm like, what? From what? And she was like, cardiac arrest. And I'm like, her heart just stopped. Like, she was just perfectly fine last night. I just seen her last night. There's no way. And she was like, that's what I've been trying to figure out. I don't know what's going on. They're not really telling me anything. So I'm just confused, trying to get down to what's going on, what happened. We call my sister, and I see why Rachel didn't want to call her in the first place, because her reaction was more heartbreaking. And every time we got another reaction, it just broke our heart all over again. But you'll have to come back for everybody's reaction in part 5 because this is getting too long. Welcome back. Here's part 5 of how my life changed forever. So my stepdad gets to the hospital, and his reaction is so heartbreaking. Like, I've never seen a grown man cry like that a day in my life. Like, he was crying like a big baby. He was saying, my wife, my baby, I'm so sorry, baby. Like, this can't be real. Come back to me. And so all over again, now the whole room is distraught. And then he finally calms down. He's asking the same questions I'm asking. What's going on? How did this happen? Now we're having to try to tell him everything that we know. And now we call Karan, my sister, and my granny, my mom's mom. And we call Karan, and she just loses it. She's throwing stuff everywhere. She breaks her TV. She breaks her door, puts a million holes in it. She's just acting so crazy. And like, we understand, because none of us can live without my mom. Like, this, none of us was expecting what she was warning us was going to happen. So now my sister has to find a way to the hospital. She gets off the phone to do her little brief moment of grief and then find her way up there. We call my granny, and I've never heard my granny cry a day in my life until that day, and she was just shattered. My granny and my mom were best friends as well. Like, we were all just so close. And my mom and my granny, they used to be on the phone 24/7 because we never really lived in the same state for too long as my granny. And so it was like she lost her best friend, her daughter, and they all said the same thing, like, nobody's supposed to bury their child. And so everybody's just distraught. Finally, my sister gets there. She's tripping out, and after my sister gets there, a nurse walks in, or a doctor, or whatever these people call themselves. And instantly, sorry for your loss. You guys need to start figuring out funeral arrangements or figuring out what you guys are going to do with the body. We literally have not been in this room for more than an hour at this point, and they're already telling us, get your deceased mother out of here. So now this lady has unlocked a new stage of grief in me. And I'm like, oh, glad that you're here. While we're talking about it and on the subject, how did my mom go? Like, how did this happen? Why did nobody try to restart her heart? What, like, explain something to me. And she's like, oh, I don't know what the ambulance procedure is, but they did mention that they did try multiple times. And I'm like, okay, and when she got to the hospital, nobody tried again? And she's like, no, because she was already pronounced gone in the ambulance. And I'm like, that's crazy, because people have been brought back multiple times, like with their heart restarted. It just seems like you guys didn't try. At the end of the day, within 10 minutes, that's all. That's all my mom got out of you guys. 10 minutes worth of effort by not even doctors, people that are just trained to drive the ambulance. I don't know what they're specifically trained on, but I know they're not trained on the exact same things that doctors are trained on, and that's bringing people back to life. And so she proceeds and goes on to ask, is my mom an organ donor? And now that sets off the whole room, because my mom did not play about that organ donor stuff. She made sure none of us had that on our driver's license. And like, she did not play that. So now we're seeing why she was so serious about it all the time as soon as they mentioned that. And I'm like, no, she was not an organ donor. Why? Did you already take her organs? Like, now I'm thinking everywhere, because I'm like, none of this is making sense. I feel like the ambulance did not try to save my mother because she is a healthy black woman and y'all wanted her organs. So now I'm like, this is not making sense. I need some type of autopsy or something to find out what happened to my mom, because now I feel like her organs were taken before she even got to this hospital. And you can call me conspiracy theorist all you want, but if it was your mom, you would be having all these thoughts too. And she was already super cold by the time I got to the hospital. Your body does not get cold that fast. I don't care what nobody says. Like, I got to the hospital within less than 45 minutes of her being gone, and she was already ice cold. And mind you, anybody I've ever lost prior to my mom has passed at Sunrise Hospital, so I already don't trust these people. So I told her that I want an autopsy, and she's like, okay, well, autopsies are $2,500 if it's not a homicide case. In that case, it would have been free. And so I'm like, okay, that's weird. But now I'm trying to come up with $2,500 because the money that I have is for me to move into my house. I did not plan around my mom passing. And so I call my auntie. We always suspect her to have the money because she's in the military. We just assume. And so we ask her for the money, and she's basically like, well, you guys are not really thinking this all the way through, because I'm going to have to help with funeral cost or whatever the case may be as well. So, like, I don't know, maybe try to come up with it first before just asking me. In which I was mad at first, but I understand, like, she's not an ATM at the end of the day. So we ended up not getting an autopsy because we just couldn't afford it at the time. And they ask us what funeral home we want her sent to, and we tell them the funeral home. We pick one out, and that's just that. They're like, okay, well, you guys say your last goodbyes, and it's time to wrap it up. And so we're all just over her body saying goodbye. We walk out the hospital, and we are lost. Like, literally, as soon as we walk out the hospital and everybody gets to their cars, we're just looking at each other like, so what now? Like, she was literally the leader. She would have been able to tell us what to do in that moment, and she wasn't there to tell us what to do. So I'm still angry. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was feeling more anger than sadness at this point. I could not accept the fact that my mom just left like that. So I felt like there was some type of foul play going on. I don't know if it was on the ambulance. I don't know if it was at her job. But now my mind is racing everywhere, and I'm like, wait, didn't you guys say that Eric's baby mama's daughter works at her job? Like, did my mom eat anything? Did she drink anything? Like, have these people poisoned my mom? I promise you, my mind was everywhere. So I go up to the job, and I approach the girl, and I'm like asking her questions, but I'm very aggressive. So like, she's confused, like, girl, I just got to work a couple hours ago. When I got to work, your mom already said that the ambulance was on the way. And I'm like, no, I don't believe it. What did my mom drink? Like, did she drink some coffee? Did you give it to her? I'm just tripping out. So eventually everybody calmed me down. Like, they're pulling me out the store. Like, girl, you're about to go to jail today. At this point, like, you're doing a lot and we don't want you in jail. So we had already made plans to go to my mom's house when we walked out of the hospital, but I just had to make a pit stop. And so we all meet up at my mom's house, trying to just move on. Like, not move on, but move how we know that she would have wanted us to move. She would not have wanted us to be so lost without her. Like, she basically felt like she trained us for this moment, and now was our time to shine. And so we go to her house, we're drinking, we're just all pretty much zoned out. Like, we're trying to laugh, but at the same time, every time we laugh, we cry. We're laughing, crying. Like, this is just going on for a couple hours until we're just exhausted from crying so much. So now everybody's ready to try to sleep this pain off and wake up from this nightmare. So we all separate and we go home, we go to sleep. Next day, this is still our reality. And so, mind you, me and this guy, we were already in the works of getting our own house before my mom had passed. We didn't plan around her passing, so I didn't know like what to do, but we had already got approved for this house. So in the midst of me grieving, I'm still having to sign a new lease, pay a deposit, all these things at once, because our move-in date was the day that she passed. So that happens, and honestly, another mistake that I made. I moved in and got a house with this guy, and this is when my life changed once again for the worse. I'm sorry, y'all. TikTok only gives me 10 minutes, so y'all will have to come back for part 6. Part 6 featuring the big dog herself. So my mom basically prepared us for this moment, like I said, for years. She always told us that it's coming soon and that we need to be ready for it and that this is what she wants us to do. So after she passed, I'm remembering all these instructions. I'm remembering every single time she told me she was going to go and what she wanted me to do, as is everybody else. We all remembered that she said she did not want a funeral. She wanted a barbecue instead with all of her family's laughs, good vibes. So that's exactly what she got. So we have a barbecue for her. If you guys want the backstory to that, I will be doing like a life after all of this thing. But we have a barbecue for her, and at the barbecue, he is basically trying his hardest to make it about the fact that it's his house. There was a huge backyard in this house. And in the backyard, there was like a back house. And as we're setting up decorations and things like that, he mentions he wants nobody in the back house because he's turning that to his game room. Wasn't his game room yet, but since it was going to be, none of my family could go in there. And it's really something that we could have used for the barbecue. But I just see all these things coming out that my mom and my sister were trying to warn me about this whole time. And as he's acting like this, I'm just like, why would I move in a house with this dude? Like, now I'm trying to plan my escape. So during the barbecue, he was acting like he wasn't just acting how he was acting before. And he was interacting with my family, socializing with them, on the grill with my stepdad and my first baby daddy and everything. Everybody was there. And so at this point, I don't like that, because I'm like, I don't even want him socializing with my family, especially the people he's never met before, because I don't want them to think that this is my man. Because now I've already decided I don't want this man no more. So I'm drunk out of my mind. I end up falling asleep super early, around like 11 p.m. that night. And the next morning we wake up and we're just talking about it. My stepdad and my sister end up falling asleep at my house. So we're just talking about the night before. We're talking about how this fly on the wall won't leave us alone. And my mom used to always tell us that when she goes, she's going to be a fly on the wall. She's going to always be stalking us, and we're not going to be able to get rid of her. But she used to always use the expression, I'm going to be a fly on the wall. So now we're feeling like my mom's energy has transferred that fast, and she's literally sitting here with us talking about her barbecue, like telling us, yeah, y'all did that. And So we're happy, we're vibing, like we're just talking about the night before and everything. And they're making fun of me for falling asleep so early and not getting my mom's name tattooed because I don't have any tattoos. I don't play those type of games. Like, I'm scared of needles. And so as we're talking and stuff, he basically calls me in the room to tell me that we're being too loud. The day after my mom's barbecue, no, he doesn't have work in a couple hours. No, it wasn't early in the morning. It was about 11 o'clock, but we're being too loud. Eventually, my sister and my stepdad decided that they couldn't take any more of his standoffish energy. Me personally, I went back to sleep after eating just to take a nap, but he was still awake, and so they knew that that was the only energy around them, and they just were over it. So they left, and life goes on. The next day after mom's barbecue, I tried to go back to work, and I had taken a week of bereavement. I took my 3 paid days and my 2 unpaid days, and then plus my 2 off days. So I come back from bereavement after a week, and I'm cleaning my rooms, and I get called to the office, and they tell me that I've been fired. And I'm like, life is just lifing at this point, huh? So I start crying. Like, I'm not even crying because I'm fired. I'm crying because of the simple fact that my mom called me the morning of her passing and asked me to come to her, and I told her I couldn't because of this job, and now this job is letting me go. But one thing about me, I've been having my own place since I was 18 years old and never looked back. I never went back to my mom's house since then. So I was going to get another job. I was going to make sure my rent was paid. Like, that wasn't a problem. But he didn't know that about me, I guess. So as soon as I get fired, he's acting like that alone is stressing him out. And my energy is just so off, in that basically I'm taking too long to get over my mom passing. So there were multiple different occasions where he would be like lashing out on me simply because I was grieving. And so, yes, I can admit that I was an angry person at that time, but that's not an excuse for how he was acting towards me. If you love somebody and they're going through something like that, any way they're acting should not even bother you, because you should know exactly why they're acting like that. But he didn't care. It was all about him. So one time we were on the way to my stepdad's house, and I don't even remember what we were going to go pick him up for. But as we're on the way there, we're fighting about something that I can't even remember. It was so little. And he said something about putting his hands on me. And at this time, like I said, after my mom had passed, I was an angry person. Like, I wanted to fight somebody. I didn't care, male, female, zebra, like, everybody can get it. So he said he wanted to put his hands on me, and I just stopped the car and threw my car in park. And I'm like, okay, so what's up? So now at this point, we're fighting, going blow for blow, and he puts a big knot on my forehead. But at this time, my stepdad was completely blind in one eye and couldn't really see out the other one. So we pull up to my stepdad's house, because this happens literally the light before his house. And when we pull up, I don't say anything. I'm just thinking he's going to see it. But if he doesn't, he just doesn't, because I didn't feel like I was in danger. Like, I just didn't. I'm not going to call on nobody unless I need you to come. So my stepdad doesn't see it. We drop him off where he needs to be dropped off to. And as soon as we're like back by ourselves, he's like, yeah, nobody's coming to save you. Your stepdad didn't even fend for you. And I'm like, I didn't even tell my stepdad what was going on. And he like, oh, well, you have a big knot on your forehead. He's seen it. And I'm like, I promise you, he did not see that knot. That man couldn't even see his own fingers at that time. And then another situation happens where we get into it, and we are close to his baby mama's house at the time. So as we're getting into it, he literally just hops out of my car and walks to his baby mama's house and doesn't say anything after that. So now we're getting into it so bad, the worst we had ever been getting into it, our whole relationship, after my mom died. So I'm finding that abnormal within itself. Like, dang, like, you're supposed to be here for me right now, and you're treating me like you hate me. So now it's November 14th, 15th, or 16th. Whenever this boy's son's birthday is, that's the date. And he at first asked me if I wanted to go to his son's birthday party that his baby mama was throwing. So now I'm thinking like, okay, maybe he's trying to use this as the platform or the setting where we're going to finally have a conversation and come to an agreement or an understanding so that we can stop all the drama in this relationship. So I asked him, I'm like, your baby mama invited me to your son's birthday party. Like, none of that is sounding right. And he's like, no, she didn't, but you can come. I don't care. That's my son too, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, that's not going to work. You need to have a conversation with this woman and find out if I'm actually welcome to come to this birthday party. So I guess they have a conversation and she tells him, no, she can't come, but her daughter can. Mind you, this is only about a month after me losing my mom. So I'm still not even all the way mentally there. I text my sister and I'm like, do you think I should let Nyla go to this birthday party? And it honestly wasn't even in the sense of I care about her or him. It was just more so like, should I just let her get out the house and have fun? She hasn't experienced anything but sadness lately. So my sister was like, hell to the no, no, no. Do not let my niece go up over there by herself. I don't trust him. I don't trust his baby mama. None of that. If you feel like they need to get out the house and have fun, we'll plan something this weekend and we'll take my nieces and nephews out. But as far as going up over there with them people, absolutely not. And mind you, my sister has not trusted this man our entire relationship. And you're about to find out why in the next part. Part 6, featuring... Hopefully this is the last part because this story has been mentally exhausting. So since his son's birthday party, everything has been more different than before. Even though I was already mentally done with this guy, after his son's birthday party, I can just completely tell that he was over my energy and ready to return home, and that we had both made a big mistake by moving into this house together. So November 26th, 2022, I had went over to my big sister's house because that was now where my other sister Rachel was staying as well. And we just had a conversation. We were talking about everything that had went on. And she was just basically just trying to remind me, like, sis, we had the time of our life when it was just me and you. Like, it was so much better when it was just me and you. And we let these people come into our life and basically ruin everything. Like, they ruined our happiness. They prevented so much things from happening. And so she's like, at this point, I feel like we just need to go back to the basics. Like, go back to what we know. Move out of that house. Forget your name. Your name is already messed up from your apartment. And me, you, and Karan should just get a house together. She's like, just reminding me of every little thing. Like, do you remember when this happened with his baby mama? Do you remember that? Like, just look at it from a different point of view for once. Do you not, like, realize that she's acting like this because he's telling her one thing and then telling you the next? And so I'm like, I'm tired. Like, I'm just tired, sis. Like, I'm not going to lie. I'm exhausted. I made a big mistake. I don't know what to do. I don't want to have that apartment and this house, like, messing up my credit. Like, I just don't know what to do. And so in the midst of us having this conversation, he's texting me, telling me, like, how done we are with each other. We're arguing. And he tells me, well, as long as I'm paying my half of the rent every month, then don't worry about it. Me and my baby mama about to be up in the back house, living it up. And I'm just like, why is he acting so evil towards me? Like, I'm exhausted. Like, she has her own place. Go home to her. Like, why do you want to start that type of drama? Because you know if I come home and this girl's in my house, I don't care if it's the back of my house, it's going up. And so my sister, I'm sitting there telling my sister about all the text messages, and she's like, yeah, no, at this point, sis, just go ahead and move out. Just come move in with Karan, and we'll all just move up and live up in this apartment until we can afford a house. And like us being piled on top of each other will give us the motivation to do it faster. But like I said, I've had my own place since I was 18, so that just didn't sound right to me. Like, I would rather him be kicked out of my place and my sister come move into my house with me. She could stay in the back house and we're roommating from that point on, rather than me go stay in like an apartment, like on somebody's couch. I just wasn't feeling it. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try to like figure it out. I'm gonna see if maybe he'll move out. So November 27th is 2022 is the day that Thanksgiving fell on that year. And this is our first Thanksgiving without our mom. She was always the one to cook the good food. She was the best cook in the family, and we just didn't know what to do. So we decided to house hop. We went to my auntie's house, my mom's god sister, and we ate there. The food was nothing compared to hers. We went to my godmom's or my goddad's mom's house, and the food was trash there. Like, we just hated it everywhere we went. And I can see on my sister's face how depressed she was. Like, Rachel, out of all people, was struggling to continue simply because she didn't really have anything to live for anymore. She felt like we had kids, she didn't. And I'm honestly just saying that to say, you can tell when it's about to be somebody's time. You just have to watch the signs, honestly. So the next day, November 28th, 2022, is the day that it all happened. I woke up next to the devil, and we were talking about smoking that day. We didn't have any more trees or whatever. Like I said, I don't know what I can say and what I can't. But we were talking about calling somebody to bring it to us. And so it was like a debate because he wanted to go to who he wanted to go to, and I didn't want to wait on him. So we just decided not to buy it together anymore. Like, we're going to just buy our stuff separate from now on. We've already decided to break up anyway. We just don't know what we're about to do with this house. And so he goes to pick his up, but I had already called somebody to bring mine to me. So as he leaves and comes back, when he comes back, I'm just like, well, he started packing his stuff, packing his game and stuff, and I still didn't have any. And at that point, like, I couldn't go without it. I had just lost my mom. I don't care, like, what relationship we have right now. You can still give me a little until my dude gets here. And so I tell him, like, I ask him, like, you're not gonna give me anything, like, at all. And he starts going up, I don't owe you nothing. Like, you already just said we're buying it separately, blah, blah, blah. I don't owe you nothing. I'm about to get up out of here. So I'm like, okay, cool. You got it. And I'm the type of person where it's like, let the door hit you on the way out. Like, I won't lose no sleep about it. So he's walking out the door, and I push the door, like, to slam it. And it hits, like, his ankle or his foot or whatever on the way out. And so he gets mad, and he pushes the door back in and punches me in my face. So I'm like, you didn't even have to do all that. So now we're physically fighting. And honestly, truly, he was weak. And I was whipping on him, and he had a lot of hair. So I was fighting him like a female. I was pulling on his hair, dragging him. And I guess he felt like he was losing. So he was like, nah, forget that. I'm about to call a female to beat you up. Don't worry about it. I'm about to call a female. I'm not even about to keep putting my hands on you. And I'm already knowing that he's talking about the female I've been having problems with the whole year in my relationship. So go ahead and call her. Like, it's about time for us to fight anyway. And so he's like, don't worry about it. I'm about to call her. But first he calls his brother. And his brother is like, come on now. Like, that's some, like, female stuff. Do not call that girl up over there to your house that you got with your girl. Like, just walk away. He's literally trying to tell this dude to walk away. Now the names is about to come out. So he's like, no, I'm tired of this girl. I'm about to have Ebony come do it to her, which is his baby mama. And this and this and this. So he calls his baby mama, and he's like, Ebony, you got the go ahead. So now I'm like, oh, yeah, this is crazy. They've been plotting on me this whole time. Like, he's been wanting me and his baby mama to fight, and that's why he would never resolve our issues, our whole relationship. So he's like, yeah, you got the go ahead or whatever. And then he like, I'm going to send you the address, and hangs up the phone. But I don't see him texting no address or nothing. So now I'm mad. Like, my blood is boiling. You just called this female up over here. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure she get here safe. So I sent her the address. And she called him back, and she was just basically like asking him if he for sure wants her to come. And he was like, yes, go ahead and pull up. So now I call my sister. But I'm honestly just calling my sister and letting her know today is the day, because this whole relationship, she's been warning me, my mama's been warning me, they've been letting me know like it's eventually gonna happen. I've been letting them know like, yeah, now I feel like y'all are right, like I'm eventually gonna fight his baby mama. So I'm literally just calling her to tell her it's going down right now. I did not know my sister was about to leave work and be on her way right then and there. But my big sister has never played about me on no day. So she was already on her way there as soon as I told her, yeah, it's going down right now. And so I'm like, sis, you don't really got to leave work. Like, I got it. And my sister already felt like since he was 25, she was around his age. They was more so in her age bracket, and that was her fight to take. And I'm like, that's not, no, because this is the dude that I'm dealing with and his baby mama. Like, you don't, no, I don't feel like this is your fight to take at all. And she like, I don't care, you're my little sister. So she's on the way to me. And at the time, his baby mama only lived about 10 minutes away from us. So his baby mama gets there before my sister. And she pulls up in the driveway. And unfortunately, you'll have to tune into part 8 to find out what happened next. Hopefully this is the last. Part 8, and for this one, I will need a couple shots, so mind your business. So his baby mama pulls up to my house, and as soon as he walks outside to the driveway to go meet her or whatever, my sister tells me, lock the door and wait until I get there. Like, no, this is not going down without me there. So she's like, lock the door, and when I get there, I'll let you know. I'm gonna stay on FaceTime. So as soon as he walks out the door, I lock the door. And when he comes back to the door, he just starts kicking it in. Kicks the door in, literally breaks the entire door frame. And I guess he thought as soon as they came in, his baby mama was about to go to work. But the girl tries to sit down on my couch. But this is not an intervention. Like, girl, what did you think you came to give us? Couples therapy? So as soon as she's sitting down on the couch, she like kind of turns her back. But the way that my house was set up, from the couch, you can see my room. And the house wasn't big at all. So I know this girl seen me in her peripheral vision. And I know she didn't think that I was not going to do anything after she just walked up in my house. So I run up on her and he tries to warn her like as if she didn't see me. And he's like, Ebony, turn around. What are you doing? So she turns around but doesn't, like, she's not fighting me back. Like, I'm literally just beating this girl up. She's not fighting back. She's running behind the couch. Literally got herself cornered at this point. And now he jumps in. Mind you, my sister already warned me that this was about to happen when she told me to lock the door. She was like, they're going to jump you. Like, if you do not lock that door, they're going to jump you. So I already knew it was about to go down. But like I said, he was fairly weak, and obviously so was his baby mama. And so when he grabbed me, he like grabbed my ponytail and just yanked me down on the floor. And now they both getting their licks in while I'm on the ground. But as I'm laying there and swinging back, I'm like literally realizing how weak they are. And I just stood up. So as soon as I stand up, he's asking her, where's my AR? Where's my AR? Like, asking her where to go. And I'm like, what is he looking for that for? So she's like, where's my car keys? She's ready to get up out of here. She realizes that she don't know what she just walked into. So she's looking for her car keys, and I see her car keys, and I throw them outside, and I tell her to go fetch like a dog. And I'm looking for my phone because now I hear my sister, but I'm thinking I still hear my sister on FaceTime. So I'm looking for my phone, and they go outside. She gets in her car, and I assume he finds his AR. So I finally find my phone, and I realize that my sister is no longer on FaceTime, and that I hear her voice here outside in the driveway. So I run outside. As soon as I get out there, I look to my right because the driveway was right there on the side of the house. I look to my right, and he has the AR in his hand, pointing it at the car. I look to my left, and I see the baby mama sitting in the car in the driver's seat, and my sister on top of her beating her up. And this was all just happening so fast. So I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why do you have that in your hand? And as soon as I say that, he shoots it. And it goes through the car. So I start running up to the car. And I'm like, what the did you just do? And he pointed at my head and was like, I wish you would. And so I'm thinking that it didn't go through the car, that it just hit the door. And I started running up to the car, and I guess he assumed the same thing because he knew that I was running up to the car and his baby mama was about to get jumped, just like they just jumped me. So he like, I wish you would. And I was like, you're not about to do nothing. And I still ran around the car. When I ran around the car, I see my sister literally laying there. So I start screaming to the top of my lungs. Mind you, Rachel's boyfriend is the one that drove her there. And he's literally just standing there like a deer in the headlights, like not doing anything. He didn't move a muscle. So I run up to her and I'm checking her, like trying to see if she got shot. Like, why did she just fall? I don't know what just happened. So I'm looking at her and I see that there is a wound in her butt. And I'm thinking that's the only place that it's at. It's right there in her butt. So now I'm thinking, okay, maybe she's okay. Like, maybe nothing's going to happen. Hurry up and call the ambulance. So I call the ambulance. And they're giving us instructions to put pressures on her wounds. And he was so evil that his baby mama didn't even know that was about to happen. She literally asked him, why did you just do that? What is wrong with you? So he goes and runs in the house. And mind you, it was a registered firearm and the house was in his name as well. So now he's trying to play by the law or whatever, like however you want to say it. And trying to like, you know, put pressure on the wounds and do things like that. So it seems like it was an accident. And now I'm tripping out once again. I'm like, do not touch my fucking sister. Like, do not put your hands on her at all. I tell her boyfriend to do it. And I don't even know if her boyfriend started doing it or not because I like could not touch my sister like that. I see my sister laying right there and she's literally just saying, sis, this shit hurts so bad. And I'm just telling her, like, I know. Don't worry about it. Nothing's going to happen. And she was like, yes, it is. I'm dying. Like, she's still talking to me, though. So I'm not believing nothing's about to happen to her. And she was like, I'm dying, sis. And I'm like, girl, no, the hell you're not. And so the ambulance gets there and they take her, and the only hospital nearby is Sunrise. And I'm literally begging them. I'm like, do not take her to Sunrise Hospital, please. Like, I don't trust that hospital at all. And they're like, that's the only option. It's only like 6 minutes away from here. If we don't take her to Sunrise, she might die. So they take her. She's laying on the stretcher and she's still talking. She's literally still talking, still saying the same thing, that it just hurts so bad and that she feels like she's dying. And I'm like, sis, I'm gonna be there in a second, I promise you. And so I didn't know that when the police got there that they were gonna want to like put me in handcuffs and question me for hours. I literally thought that they would be able to meet me at the hospital and question me at the hospital, because at the end of the day, I was the victim in the situation and my sister was too. Like, he called this girl over here. He's the one that started all of this. He's the one with the firearm. Like, I don't understand why he's not the only one being put in handcuffs right now. So they put me in handcuffs, his baby mama, him, and they're just questioning all of us separately. And the investigation goes on for hours. And as I'm in handcuffs, I'm tripping out. I'm like, I just want to go check on my sister. Like, can you guys please let me go check on my sister? Can y'all call the hospital? Let me talk to her physically, like something. I don't care about nothing but my sister right now. I can't even tell y'all the story for real because my mind is everywhere. And that's how the article ended up saying that all of this was over marijuana, because I was so distraught that that's the story that they got from me. And so that was happening, and this happened at 11 a.m. and the investigation went on until 6 p.m. They didn't let me out of handcuffs until 3 p.m. literally. And when they did, they wouldn't let me in the house to put any clothes on. It was freezing cold at the time. I had on shorts and a tank top because I had just woke up. Like, I hadn't brushed my teeth. I hadn't done anything yet. And so they had us in handcuffs at first, but once they let me out of handcuffs until 3 p.m. And so that was happening, and this happened at 11 a.m. and the investigation went on until 6 p.m. They didn't let me out of handcuffs until 3 p.m. literally. And when they did, they wouldn't let me in the house to put any clothes on. It was freezing cold at the time. I had on shorts and a tank top because I had just woke up. Like, I hadn't brushed my teeth. I hadn't done anything yet. And so they had us in handcuffs at first, but once they let us out, they said like we were free to go. I just couldn't go in my house. So my big sister, And my stepdad come and pick me up, and they're asking me what happened. I'm letting them know what happened. And my sister, she just starts going up on me like, if my sister passes, it's your fault, because like she should have never been involved and nothing that you and him had going on. And I'm just telling her, like, come on now, like, we all know, sis, like, she was gonna pull up regardless. Even if I didn't call her right then and there, once I told her that they jumped me or that I fought her at that, she was still gonna pull up to their house. Like, and then on top of that, he had some type of revenge that he wanted from her. He did not just do that just because he was scared for his baby mama. Like, he literally has been hating my sister our whole relationships, probably since she busted him in the face with a wine glass. So the hospital calls and they tell us that basically she is not stable and that they don't think that she's going to make it. And now my whole world is crumbled all over again, because I'm like, there's no way you're doing this to me right now, God. Like, you literally just took my mom. There's no way you're about to take my sister too. Like, she told us that all we would have is each other. And me and my oldest sister have never had the best relationship. So, like, that wasn't enough for me. And I was just, like, distraught. I was stressed. I was everything that you can think of. And so I didn't want to stay there with my sister that night because she had already said what she said to me. So I'm like, I'm just going to go home. Like, I don't even want to be around this type of energy right now. And she was hurt, and so I understand why she said it. But I left and I went back to the house. And you'll have to tune in to part 9 to find out what happened after that. Part 8. Part 9, the last and final part. After this, I will be doing a life after to tell how I coped and what I went through afterward. So make sure you guys tune into that as well. So I pull up and his baby mama's literally just leaving around 9 p.m. because all of our cars were a part of the investigation. Anything that was in that driveway or on that curb was a part of it. She didn't have her cell phone, his cell phone. She couldn't touch her car keys. I couldn't move my car. Nobody could touch anything. So when I got there, she was just pulling off, but the police was still there, so I couldn't do anything. And so I go in the house and I'm sitting there. I know somebody spent the night with me that night, but I can't remember who. I want to say it was my stepdad. And I'm sitting there just zoned completely out. Like, now I'm thinking about every little thing. I'm sitting there telling myself, why didn't you run when this happened? Why didn't you leave him alone when this happened? Like, basically just telling myself, you literally got away when it was entirely too late. And I was beating myself up, praying, hoping that my sister was going to make it, because they did say that she was still alive. She just was unstable. And so I was praying that she was going to make it, praying that a miracle happened, because I know that they happen every day. And I could not fall asleep. I just sat there, literally just sitting there. I couldn't smoke. I couldn't drink. I was just sitting there. So I was so traumatized. Naturally, around 6 a.m., my body just shut down and went to sleep on its own. And it's November 29th, 2022. And I want to say it's around 9 a.m. that I got a call from the hospital. And the hospital calls and they advise that we come see our sister, because they don't know how much more they're going to be able to do for her. So we go up there to see her. She's not looking good at all. She's not breathing on her own. Her brain was completely swollen. We found out that she didn't only get shot in her butt, but also it went through her gut. And they explained that basically the type of firearm that it was caused her organs to internally blow up. And so he had messed my sister up so bad that they couldn't really do much. They said that there was one more possibility that they were looking at for a surgery, and that she would only be able to go through this surgery if she had had a bowel movement in the past couple hours before she had got to the hospital. And so they were basically saying if there's any bowel in their way during the surgery, they cannot perform the surgery because it will infect everything that's open. And we were just hoping that she had had a bowel movement. My sister was on a weight gain journey at this time, so we honestly became optimistic once they told us that, because we were just so sure that she had had a bowel movement before getting to that hospital. We were like, she eats all the time. She's always in the bathroom. She has definitely used the bathroom lately. So now we leave the hospital. I go back to the house. When I get there, my cousin and my auntie came over and a couple other people. This time of life is so cloudy. I can't even remember every step-by-step thing after. But they came over and my cousin is destroying his car. He's throwing rocks through the windows, breaking the windshield. And I'm letting him do what he does at first. But then I remembered that my name is on the car as well. And I didn't know much about how insurance worked and stuff like that at the time. So I was thinking that that was going to come back on me if he destroyed that car. So I was like, just leave it alone, please. Later on, we get a call and the hospital tells us that we need to come see our sister once again because she is not going to make it. So when we get there, we're asking them, like, how come they can't put her on life support? Like, what's the deal? And they explained that because her heart wasn't beating by itself, I guess, that life support wasn't going to work. I can't remember exactly what they said. I was so traumatized at this time that I wasn't really listening to anything or anybody. But after finding out that they were not going to be able to save her, I yelled at the whole hospital, of course. I'm obviously not good when it comes to situations like that. But I'm yelling at the nurses. I'm yelling at the doctors. I'm telling them they didn't even try. I'm telling them this is exactly why I hate sunrise. Almost about to get put out at this point. But the nurses, they were actually a little more compassionate this time. And they were saying that they completely understand why I'm acting like this. And just telling us to let them know when we're ready to pull the plug. So they tell us we can give you guys a couple more hours, and by the end of the day, if there is no more progress, then we will have to pull the plug. And so me and my sister and my stepdad and everybody that's there with us, we go in the room and we talk to her and we tell her our sorries and sing to her, and then we tell her goodbye, basically. And so hopefully she was able to hear us. They were never able to confirm or deny whether or not she could still hear us. They said there was still some brain activity, but she was almost brain dead as well. So we go to my sister's house for a while, and trauma does affect your memory a lot because I can't even remember what we did after that. That's all a gray area. And then eventually I go home. My cousin goes home with me, as well as a couple of my friends or whoever was there to comfort me at the time. And so I go home, we're kicking it at my house, and I leave to go drop my cousin back off at his house, get back to my house, and his car is no longer in the front, and my back door is wide open. And of course, when he went, he still had a key to my house. So I'm thinking, like, did he really just get out that fast? Like, there is no way. So now I'm concerned because, like I said, it was a registered firearm and it was also his house. So I'm thinking they just let him out, saying that, like, basically he wasn't in the wrong. So I text his baby mama, his brother. I'm texting everybody. I'm like, I know y'all did not just come to my house and just walk up in my house and like just take stuff out of my house because they took his game and everything else. But it was so weird because it happened as I went to go drop my cousin off 10 minutes away from my house. So I wasn't gone for more than 20 minutes. So somebody had to be in front of my house or down the street watching me and waiting for me to leave my house. And that was even more concerning because, like, come on now. So she claims nobody was ever in my house, but obviously one of them were. And so the owner and the landlord are texting me and calling me like, hey, what's going on? The police gave us a call. They said this and this happened. Like, let us know something. And they called me and asked me about that, I think the night that it happened or the next day. So I didn't get around to calling them until November 30th when everything was starting to die down. I tell them what happened and they're basically just sending their condolences. They're like, that's so crazy. When we met him, he didn't seem like he was that type of person. Like, we can't believe it. You guys seemed like such a happy couple when you guys first moved in. We would have never thought something like this happened. And they're working with me. They're basically saying that I do have to leave. They blamed it on the police, saying that the police thought that it was best for my safety to leave. But I know that they just didn't want that type of stuff at their house, which is understandable. And so they said that I had to leave, but they weren't going to put an eviction or anything on my name because of what I just went through. And I'll put all that in the life after. So now it's January, his first court date. I've been keeping in contact with the DA this entire time to find out what's going on. And they let him out on bail. So now a bunch of weird stuff is going on. Mind you, his baby mama has a snake. And one day my sister walks outside and there is a deceased rat just laying there right in front of the door like somebody placed it there. And then my car got stolen. And when I found my car, a bunch of stuff was missing that belonged to him, had his name on it, or something that he has asked me for before. So now I'm convinced like he's messing with me, and I'm just confused because like, dude, what more do you want from me? So now it's March 22nd, and I guess all his little tactics weren't working, so he decided to reach out. I'm gonna post all the messages in a separate video, but I'm gonna read the first message. It says, "Hey Sky, I hope you're doing good. I know we haven't spoke since the accident. I really want to apologize. I never thought in a million years that would happen and wasn't supposed to. I never meant to do that. I feel like I folded in that moment and didn't know what to do. And I know what Rachel is capable of, and Ebony never stood a chance. Rachel was like my sister too. We drank, smoked together. I never would have thought to harm her. Like for real, for real. I know that and feel it every day. I failed you big time. I was supposed to be the one to take care of you and make sure you was always good, and I didn't play my part at all. You was right. I should have gotten myself right before dating you. But you made me feel like the only dude you ever wanted. Made me fall in love with you. I just feel like if we met before my previous relationship, no doubt about it, we would have been married already, and I hate that for me. I'm gonna just put the rest in the next video because this is about to end in a second. But moral to the story is run before it gets too late. Stop messing with these dudes who are mentally unstable because it will cost somebody's life. More importantly, do not ignore the red flags. Like, that is not cute. It's not okay to ignore the red flags because it can turn out really, really ugly in the end. And I didn't know that, but I'm here to tell you now that it can. And you guys are more than welcome to ask me questions. I'm going to be doing Q&A videos as well as a life after bid with a couple different parts. And I'm going to post the messages separately in a video. Thank you all for listening, and don't forget to follow me.
Oh, man. Yeah, so the sister passed away. This woman's name is Sky Lewis 97. That's on TikTok. It's SKYE Lewis 97. Yo, well, her sister. I felt my eyes turn up. I was trying to hold it together. She said, don't ignore the red flags. Man, all people do is ignore red flags. I've ignored so many red flags. I'm pretty sure my exes have ignored red flags. But, you know, I ain't gonna say I ain't ever the worst person in my relationship ever. Because I'm not a bad person. But when you say ignore the red flags, and it's like the family, when your family don't like your partner, man, it's never gonna work. It's never gonna work. It's never gonna work. Also, when your partner don't grieve, or not don't grieve, I'm sorry. When your partner when you grieving and your partner don't, man, whew. That right there is how I knew my relationship was over. Because when I was grieving and my partner wasn't there, I was like, man. I mean, it wasn't over, but I just knew I wasn't down with that. And I was like, because one thing I would say, if the shoe were on the other foot, they'll be calling me the worst person ever. I'll be the worst person ever. But because it's me and not them, then, So at the end of the day, you kind of know. And I didn't even ignore it. I just kind of let it go. But it wasn't long after that it even lasted. So it wasn't even like a big deal. But I knew. That was one red flag I did not ignore. And the reason why I know I didn't ignore it, because I know it and I still talk about it to this day. And I still know that's when I knew I didn't want to be with this person forever. So, and then so by the time it was over, I was like, shit, man, shit, you know. Losing her sister probably hurt the most because her sister came over there to protect her, and her sister was down the ride for her, and that is the worst time to lose a family member when they come to take up for you. It was somebody so insensitive. It's like they said, "What do you think he was supposed to do? He wasn't supposed to shoot that damn gun. That's what the fuck he wasn't supposed to do. Cause nigga, why you got a gun for some women?" And when she say that he was weak, it makes sense that he's weak. Cause you get an AR for some women, man, I get to smacking all type of. But I wouldn't. But I'm just saying he was weak because he went and grabbed a assault rifle for some women. It's crazy. So it was just weird for that. And then he shot at the car. He didn't shoot at the car. He actually shot at your sister. He didn't just shoot at the car. He knew what he was doing. You know, these when shit happens like that, they think he impulsive. And it sounded like he had like I don't know, but it sounded like he has single I'm the only child issues. You know, the only child. Oh, this is mine. This is my back house. I don't want you in my back house. Stay over here. I ain't the only child, so it'd be like me casa su casa, nigga. I learned to share alone when I was a kid. In fact, it wasn't even me sharing. It was my sisters and them sharing with me because I was there. I was they little. They had to share with me. I invaded their space. So he had a lot of issues, man. But then again, the sister did bust him over the head with a bottle. So he did hate her. But again, that goes to building a relationship. There are some things I had there's some things that I had issues with the woman that I was dating, with their parents or family or whatever the case may be. But then I would never disrespect them. I never call them out their name. I never show up to their house acting crazy. It's just certain things I would not do because out of the respect for them being their parent and they not in our relationship, that I just wouldn't do. So the fact that he didn't have that shows more about his character. Is that, if even if her mama is in his face, turn around and walk away. Because maybe you not seeing it from her point of view, or maybe you is, but maybe you not. And then maybe you right. But still, it's because it's her daughter, and that's the person you love. You just shut the fuck up and move on. And let her be right. You let her be right. You let the mama be right. And then, maybe y'all could talk about it another day. But he didn't do that. It's a lot of things he didn't do right. And then the fact that he did, even if your mama was extra dramatic, because she said in the story that her mama was dramatic about him hitting her. It should have never came to that point. And after that, you should have been like, look, this ain't gonna work. But I hope I do find all this story about, the sister getting shot, because she said it was on the news and they said it was over some weed. And truthfully, it's not over no weed. I mean, it's just over two people who don't like each other no more. Yeah, after the sister busting with the wine glass, it should have been a dub. It should have been over. People be like, that's a big red flag. People be like, that's not a red flag. I'm at a fair looking ass. You sure right. People look at red flags like like Six Flags. Shout out to Discussions with Drea. Hey, man, listen. Man, I think the best thing for this situation, it just had to end. It just had to end. And it's a good thing that it did. Not this way. Not with her losing her sister. But she was this close to losing her life. Unfortunately, it had to be her sister. But he was putting his hands on her. Then he pulled a gun out on her. He didn't love your sister. He loved you. So he shot your sister. But all it would have took was one more fight and it would have been your ass. They were only together for like a year and some change. They wasn't together for years. They was only together for like a year. She said they was only together for like a year and some months. She didn't say like a year and a half. They were barely together for a year with all of this stuff happening.